Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for Championship. Not preview and predictions. It should say review and reaction down there. Unbelievable start to the show. If I just quickly press some buttons, we can probably correct that banner down there. But it is indeed Championship review and reactions. There you go. There it is. 31 rounds done in the Championship. It's a midweek round. It's a 3-game week. Things are happening fast and furious. So let's get this review done right now. We'll be back with the preview for round 32, of course, tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for joining me. If you are in the chat already, do say hello and do please hit that thumbs up button. Help this stream reach as many people as possible. We're going to get to every team, every game, every goal in the Championship this midweek round. 31, plenty of big stories. Mitrovic gets to 30. Bournemouth back in the top 2. Forest into the top 6. West Brom down to 9th. And are the bottom 4 now adrift? Is it 3 from 4 down at the bottom? We'll get into all of that. First of all, let's just say a big thank you to Russ, who's our fan sponsor. Was a foe and now a friend. Currently on loan to the Premier League for a year. Russ got involved over at patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. If you want to support what we do here, you can do over at Patreon. We do exclusive roundtables there, exclusive Q&A as well. And you can support my work. But it'll always be free here on YouTube, in which case you need to support it by hitting the like button and getting involved in the comments. Let's say some hellos. Let's say a big thank you, actually, to Wolves FI with a €1.53 super chat. I don't know what the significance of that number is, but thank you very much. Hi to Mick, Ewan, Wolves FI, like we've just said. Thank you again. Dave, Pee-wee, Tony, Jake, Stephen, Alan, Andrew, Peter, David, Mark, Yanis, HS, Dave, Peanuts, Tebow. Do you want to say hello to Yanis? Rouge Lion, I like that. Chris, No Sarge, who's that at the bottom there? Ian as well. Welcome, everybody. Here are your round 31 results. We're going to go through all of these games and we're going to go through in the order that the teams appear in the table. But your results were Coventry 1, Blackpool 1, Derby 3, Hull 1, Fulham 3, Millwall 0, Luton 2, Barnsley 1, Stoke 3, Swans 0, Blackburn 0, Forest 2, Bournemouth 3, Birmingham 1, Bristol City 2, Reading 1, Cardiff 4, Posh 0, Preston 0, Huddersfield 0, our only 0-0. Look, I was in the wrong place again. QPR 2, Borough 2, Blades 2, Baggies 0. Let's get in first with Fulham 3, Millwall 0, and our leaders, well, 6 points clear, Fulham, and 8 points clear of third place. And they also have 2 games in hand on third place. So Fulham's push to the title seemingly continues, grows strength, 61 points from 29 games. So they're nicely over that 2 points per game, which gets you 92 and always gets you promoted if you're going to get 92 points, doesn't it? No team has ever scored 92 points and not been promoted, and Fulham are on course. Get your comments in. Fulham 3, Millwall 0, and take a bow, Alexander Mitrovic, who in 27 games and by February the 8th has reached a 30-goal season. Outstanding from Mitrovic. Another 2 from him in this one to get the 30 up. Ivan Toney did it in round... He wasn't on the last. Glenn Murray did it on the last round of the season, didn't he? After a bit of a drought. I think Ivan Toney did it maybe a few rounds before. I can't remember. But Mitrovic is miles clear and is going to break some records this season. There's your Fulham team. Rodak, Williams, Adrabio, Riemann, Robinson is the new back four now. Doyer's gone. Chalobah, Kearney, Carvalho, Cabano, Wilson, and Mitrovic. For Millwall, Białkowski in goal, Hutchison, Pearce, Cooper, McNamara, Wallace, Keefton, Belt, Mitchell, Bennett, Burke, and Afobe. Get your comments in on this one. Here is Mitrovic with the opener there. With the right foot, just gets the bounce, and he's a fox in the box. Frankly, he's a fox in the box for the second one as well, with the left foot there Keeper Białkowski just parrying the shot prior to that one. Bobby Reed puts in 3-0. I think he's onside. I didn't bother playing it back 20 times. I don't know, he looks offside there. But I think when, is it Carvalho hits the shot? I think he's onside. And he sticks it into the back of the net. 3-0 to Fulham. Fairly straightforward stuff. Get your comments in. Look at the numbers. Look, 57% on the possession. 20 shots to 8. 6-2 on target. 4 big chances to 2. I suppose that's the only number there that does jump off the page. 2 big chances for Millwall. They probably should have been on the score sheet in some way, shape or form. But Fulham pillaging their way through this division. 77 goals now. I think we did it on the stream on Tuesday night. They're still projecting something like 122 if they do continue for the remaining 17 games to score at the rate of, it's like 2.6 goals per game or something mental like that. The goal numbers are brilliant, but it's the points numbers that the Fulham fans will be most pleased with. 8 clear of third place, and we'll talk about Blackburn's little slip they're having at the moment. They do have 2 games in hand, so Fulham look very, very strong. And, you know, we said it for a while now. Very good for promotion and very good for winning the title. Millwall down in 17th. You can see 1 win in 5 there. Little gap up to Blackpool. All I'll say for Millwall is look how tight the top half is. Anything can happen if you get in there, but they're a little bit askew and adrift at the moment. What are we going to say in the chat on this one? Claire, Millwall played okay. Couldn't stick it in the net. Fulham efficient. Millwall workmanlike. Just too good for us, but gave it a good go. Played well. There you go. So it doesn't sound like Millwall played terribly. Extra class showed. How many is Mitro projected to get? 49. If he were to score, he's scoring a goal every 79 minutes. So if he were to play all of the remaining minutes of Fulham's remaining games, he would get 49, which would make him by far the greatest championship season of all time. Millwall unlucky not to score a couple. Yeah, it seems like the chat are fairly united on this. Mitro always in the right place, isn't he, Jess? That's not a coincidence, isn't it? We actually played quite well in the end, considering the result. Fulham are too good for this league. Could have been closer. Finishing the main difference. Any other sensible comments here? I can, yeah, right. I think Mitrovic has outscored my Lions. Heard Millwall played well, to be fair. Yeah, absolutely. Take away Mitro's goals and Fulham are still the top scorer. It's not quite a one-match out. I don't think anybody, well, certainly not me. You might get some humdingers in the chat calling it a one-man team, but I think anyone who understands quite how teams are put together and leagues works will agree with you there, Andrew, for sure. Soon the teams below will want Fulham to beat the other playoff teams. Yes, they will. If they do get too far ahead, then, yeah, the damage that could be done to other teams. Right, let's move on. And we've got to talk about Bournemouth 3, Birmingham 1. So Bournemouth immediately back into the top 2 after the big spend or the big influx of players. Use whatever term you are comfortable with. Bournemouth straight back into the top 2, and they've got back-to-back wins. And again, like I was suggesting, Blackburn slipping at the moment. So they're 2 points clear, and they have 2 games in hand on Blackburn, not QPR or Forest. And then we're going down quite a few more points. So excellent, excellent day for Bournemouth, taking 3 points out of Blackburn and moving back into the top 2. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Travers in goal for Bournemouth. Stacey, Phillips, Kelly and Zamura. Billing, Lerma and Cantwell. Christie, Solanke and Anthony. For Birmingham, Etheridge in goal. Colin, Mengi, Pedersen. Bella, Graham. Sunjic, Gardner, Bakuna. Taylor and Hogan up top. And Bournemouth away and clear fairly soon into this one. A bit of a bouncy one. They recycle the attack. Sorry, a bit blurry, that one. Christie sticks it into the back of the net. This is a really good finish by Dom Solanke, who is himself having an excellent season for Bournemouth. I think that's put him over 20 as well. So excellent work by Dom Solanke there. What point did Lerma get sent off? Was it before this goal? No. Oh, yes, it is. Beg your pardon. So Jeff Lerma gets sent off 2 minutes before this one. Hernandez, huge deflection on this one. I think Phillips sort of throws himself at it with the chest, trying to get something on it, and off it goes and deflects into the corner. But the 10 men of Bournemouth do manage to finish it off. There's Jaden Anthony sticking that one in the net for 3-1 with 10 men. And all three of Bournemouth's front three scored as well. So that looks good for the Cherries. Looking at the numbers, well, you tell me. Bournemouth got into a 2-goal lead, so maybe Birmingham were chasing. But look, 10 shots to 9 in Birmingham's favour, 8 corners to 5. Might just be good game management by Bournemouth and getting themselves out in front. But look, 3 big chances to 2. So it's not quite the home run that it appears with a 3-1 scoreline. I suppose the 10 men makes a difference as well. So the number's not giving me an obvious conclusion, obviously, having not watched every second of that game, like I'm sure some of you in the chat will have. So Bournemouth, yes, straight back into second. And can the Chasers stick with them? I wonder whether we get a Bournemouth run. They've already won 2 on the bounce. Birmingham, well, we're going to talk about the state of the bottom of the table and, you know, the fact that there does appear to be now, frankly, 4 teams up for relegation unless we do get some crazy collapse from someone from 20th upwards or a crazy good run from someone in the bottom 4. At the moment, it would take something quite miraculous, but Birmingham do need to push on. Get some wins, move up the table as well. Watch out for signs of Campbell getting his mojo back. I'll keep my eye on it. We will see. Certainly done well in this division before. Big win for Bournemouth. Absolutely. We'll come on to Blackburn in a minute. Have they peaked? I'm sure we will find out. Dr. Strangelove, I hate this argument that people make. If Man City had scored a goal like the Blades' second goal, we would never hear the end of it. I really hate that type of argument. We are about to talk about that goal by Sheffield United. Why make a negative out of it? I find that so strange. So let's try and... You've got a chance to be positive about your team and you're moaning about something that somebody hasn't said, about something that didn't happen. Such an odd way to make something positive into a negative. Tell us, when we get to it, tell us how good the goal was. Don't make up some fanciful nonsense about something that hasn't happened. Deary me. Andrew, I do think Bournemouth could start to pull away. A small run in the top 2 could almost be done and dusted. We'll have a look with the games in hand. All I will say about Bournemouth is they need to get some points on the board because I checked out the last 8-9 games and very difficult running. But like Andrew says, they could pull away. Is it a positive though? Is it? Come on, you can do better for a positive there. Bournemouth still catchable at the moment. Let's wait for the games in hand to be played. Indeed. Right, let's talk about Blackburn then, because I'll be interested in your thoughts on the Rovers, who, look, we've championed them. We've applauded that amazing 15-game run. I think they got, what did they get? It's like 35 points in 15 games, but they are now slipping, Blackburn, aren't they? And it is 4 points in the last 5 games. So it's a drop of something like 2.3 something points per game to 0.8 over the last 5 games. If you're a Blackburn fan, you wouldn't want this to be the case, but have they peaked or are they going to come back? We will find out. I'm sure I'll get both theories in the chat. There we go. There's your teams there. It was Rovers 0, Forest 2. Sorry, I should make it all about Blackburn. Good win for Forest, who are now in the top 6. Remember when Steve Cooper took over, they were bottom of the table and had just 1 victory from their first 8 games. And that came in a caretaker manager game for Stephen Reid as well. Here are your teams. Kaminsky in goal for Rovers. Lenihan, Van Heck, Wharton, Giles, Kadra, Rothwell, Travis, Safuik, Buckley, and the return to the starting lineup of Ben Brereton, Diaz. For the Forest, who are having a great time, aren't they? And performing well in the FA Cup as well. Samba in goal, Worrell, Cook, McKenna, Lowe, Spence, Yates, Colback, Garner, Davis and Johnson up front. So slightly different look there, managing to get the 3 central midfielders in. But at the moment, whatever Stevie Cooper does works, doesn't it? How about that? This is good from James Garner. He turns inside his man, leaves him on the deck, sticks it in the back of the net, and then a late goal. I think that is Van Heck on. Is that Surridge? Yes, Surridge did come on. I think I'm seeing that right. And Brennan Johnson looks so confident. He kind of sends the keeper a merry dance, actually. Stands straight onto the ball, then moves 3 steps left, then runs up from the angle, and then sticks it down the middle. So lots for the keeper to process. He does not manage to do it. And the Blackburn slide, is it? Is that fair of me to say? Continues. It's a typical Stevie Cooper one, though, because you look at the numbers and they look fairly tight, but clean sheet victory. There you go. So Blackburn are now 3rd. And as I keep saying, they've played 2 more games than Bournemouth and Fulham. Of course, it is foolhardy to add 3 points on for games in hand. That's ridiculous unless teams are scoring an average of 3 points per game. We have no reasonable argument to do that. Some teams will win both their games in hand, but if you take Bournemouth as being under 2 points per game and you were to add even 3 to 4 points on, they would then go to 58 or 59, which would be a 5 or a 6 point gap rather than the 2. It is currently QPR a point behind, also with 2 games in hand. Forest are in 6th. Brilliant. Well played, Stevie Cooper, but look how tight that is. 46, 46, and then 3 teams tied on 45. So a lot of traffic there. So, yeah, well done, Forest, for huge climb up the table. And Blackburn need to bounce back. Else, yes, automatic race may not be containing them. Forest for the playoffs, too tight for me to say right now, James. There's a few good teams and a few teams in form as well around those positions. You'd be foolhardy to pick out anyone. Look, of those teams where it's all so tight, Forest are playing well. Huddersfield above them. Someone's got to get past them, and they're not losing to anyone at the moment. Borough are on a streak. Luton are on a streak. West Brom are not on a streak, but they've got good players and now a very experienced manager. And Sheffield United are on a streak as well. So who the hell knows? Rovers are finished for the top 2 now, says HS. We will find out. Brilliant work by Davis for the first goal. Great win for Forest. Interesting that Blackburn's possession stats went up after they went down to 10. That'll be a clever Stevie Cooper. Look, all back off 5 metres and just counter-attack these teams. Forest is the one to watch, playing the Cherries next Friday. How about that? That is going to be a good one, isn't it? Wouldn't count any chance of any team in the top 10. Yeah, I mean, it looks that way. We'll put it this way. You can't argue against it at the moment. We're only a run away for that. Everyone had 7 games on Forest. Yes, they did. They very much did. Forest 1 point from the first 7 games. My argument with Forest is that it'll be hard for them to get into the playoffs because of that 7 games. Basically, Forest are going to have to play well for the remaining 39 games, but they're doing it, aren't they? And they've put themselves in position now. They just cannot afford at any point, like anyone at the moment, to take their foot off the pedal. Let's move on. And it was QPR 2, Borough 2 in an all sort of top 7 clash this way. And get your comments in. Rangers 2, Borough 2. Perhaps some stereotypes played out in this one. We think Rangers finishing is very good and Chair and Willock are very good. Go figure. Chair scores a 4% XG chance. And we think Borough score less chances than they make, but they've got good fight in them. And Borough do exactly that. And we get a 2-2 draw in this one. Get your comments in. Rangers 2, Borough 2. Sounded like a good game as well. Marshall has... He's still in goal. I assume if I scroll down, I'll see Seni Dieng on the bench, will I? No, no keeper on the bench at all there. That could have been interesting, couldn't it? Barbe, Dunn, Dickey, Adoma against one of many former clubs. Well, not that many, actually. One of a few former clubs. Wallace, Field, Johansson, Chair and Willock, the boys there. And Dykes up top. For Borough, Lumley in goal. Former QPR guy is going to make a big mistake in this one. Dykesdale, Fry, McNair, Taylor, the excellent Jones, Crooks, Howson, Tavernier, Watmore, and Sporer. Here are the goal clips in this one, or the goal pictures, and it's just brilliant from Chair, isn't it? We seen him do it so many times, and if you watch this guy, just love how he just sets the ball, and he must have done this in training over and over again. Leans back, just bends it right in the corner. Great goal from Chair. 1-0. Dale Fry puts in the equaliser there. You can see there's been a couple of block attempts, and it just runs for Fry, who's up from the set play. Stings that home with his left foot for 1-1. Horrible mistake by Joe Lumley right at the start of this second half. We can praise Chair and Willock all we like for Rangers, but if the keeper's going to pass the ball straight to one of them 6 yards from goal, they will score. We know that, don't we? Brilliant work from Jones, the right wing back for this one, and Uncle Albert there, sliding it into his own net, but you have to give credit. Look, Neil Taylor, left wing back, furthest man forward in the number 9 position there. 2-2, excellent stuff. Two good teams, we think, there. Having a look at the numbers, it is very systematic of these two teams, though. Look, QPR have, and this is that, don't take it personally. QPR finished their chances this season. Borough don't. That's the deal. And if Borough can tweak that, there's really something there, isn't it? But look, 18 shots to 7, 8 corners to 3 in Borough's favour, 2 big chances to 1. But hey, maybe if you stuck Chair and Willock in the Borough team, they'd be nailed on for promotion. Well, you tell me in the chat. Two good teams, though. Two teams playing well, two teams on form. QPR stay in 4th. They did obviously lose ground on Bournemouth. However, they will have Blackburn in the sights there, QPR, and unbeaten is the main thing against a rival there, isn't it? Middlesbrough just outside of the top 6, but my God, is it condensed there. And I think what we'd all agree on Borough is there's a lot of good going on there. And if they just tweak this chance conversion thing here, they're going to be horrible opponents for someone, particularly if they were to finish in the playoffs. I'm sure their fans will think they can go even higher if they do tweak that issue there. David, we played well considering the draw. Keep out a mare for the second goal. Overall, I was happy with a point against a good promotion rival. Cracking match to watch here, well said. Played well, says the same we didn't win. We would have taken a draw before the game, so I'm happy. Yes, there you go. Alfie, good point for QPR. Grinding out the results even when we played poorly. You'll take that, won't you? Lumley lost us the game simple. Is it that simple, though? Is it? I had a look today. Sporer and Taylor both had chances with a combined XG of over 1. So I'm still thinking there were chances there for Borough to win the game, despite Lumley, in spite of Lumley. QPR have a decent fixture list coming up. Always looks decent when you're 4th, doesn't it, eh? Grinding out games. We're not playing well. A few Rangers fans have said that. Borough could have been 2 up in 15 minutes. Seriously, can't see how Warburton can drop Marshall. Yes, interesting. We'll have a look at that and see whether Marshall does stay in net for Rangers. Johnny, Borough, best away team we played this season. If we get players, hopefully we don't get them. Yeah, I think we might get a few comments similar to that. Borough played well. Their number 11 is... Well, I can't comment on that. I didn't see it. Great goal by Chair. Willock, different class. Yep. Sums up the championship. Brilliant game of football. Rangers have Huddersfield, Forest and Blackburn away next month. That'll sort the men from the boys. Am I still allowed to say that in 2022? Probably not. Who cares? Don't cancel me. I'm sure you won't. Right. Where are we going next? We're going to very quickly touch on Huddersfield, Preston, which was a 0-0. So if you want a comment, if we've got any Huddersfield or Preston fans in, we would obviously love to hear from you. What I will focus on a little bit, in fact, let's get it up on the screen, is the unbeaten streak for Huddersfield, which is just excellent, isn't it? Let's bring that up on the screen. So, look, going through from the Barnsley game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there on that first page, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in all competitions for Huddersfield. So, they've mugged me off many times this season. I think I've admitted that enough times, haven't I, that Huddersfield have surpassed my expectations. And they are 13 undefeated. And look, they got 49 from 31. So were they to get, I don't know, someone do the maths for me quickly, 1.5 points per game, so another 23 would take them to 72. Will that be enough this year? I wonder whether we get a high tide and it'd be more like 75 or something to get into those playoffs. I won't rattle through your teams. We'll just have a look at the league table and then we'll go to your comments on this one. Preston, obviously, sorry I haven't mentioned them yet. They're improving and they're, look, in quite simple terms, I think Preston are better under Ryan Lowe than they were under Frankie McAvoy and getting towards where they were for a few years under Grayson and then O'Neill, when I think they finished, Alex Neil, sorry, not O'Neill. I think they finished 7th, didn't they? One particular season. So there you go. Huddersfield still in 5th and a little gap over that big slew of teams there. But they're coming, aren't they? They are coming, all those teams. Preston, 42 into the top half. And I suppose just get your feet under the table. Anything more than that, top 10 or higher, is a bonus for North End, isn't it? Humpty, Huddersfield stole a point. We've been so lucky this year. His words, not mine. Will, Preston with a better team. This was on Sky, wasn't it, actually? Huddersfield seemed to come for a draw, did a great job, very solid. We weren't saying that about Huddersfield last year, were we? Under Frankie, we lose that game. Low improved Preston, I agree. Vandenberg is quality. He's been good, hasn't he? Huddersfield so much better than the beginning of the season. And I have to hold my hands up every time. I had Huddersfield 23rd in my pre-season predictions. Only Derby I had underneath Huddersfield, and we'll talk about Derby in a bit. So, I do have to eat humble pie where the good folk of Huddersfield are concerned. Speaking of good folk, let's go to my area here of Bedfordshire and Luton Town, who win again, and they are well in the playoff picture now, Luton, aren't they? 10 points in the last 4. Get your comments on the Hatters, who beat Barnsley 2-1. I'll skip over Barnsley because, let's say the stat. Barnsley are now projecting to get less points than Rotherham did in 16-17 to be the worst team in Championship history. Rotherham got 23 and Barnsley are just stinking it out, aren't they? Horrible, horrible season for Barnsley. Excellent season for Luton, and they're in good form. Here is your teams. Shea in goal for Luton. Burke, Osho, Naismith, Bell, Bree, Mpanzu, Lansbury, Campbell, Cornick and Adebayo. Barnsley, Collins, Anderson, Hellick, Kitching, Vita, Styles, Benson, Gomez, Keena, Bassey. So a couple of new faces, and at least for Barnsley, I guess, off the front there. And Carlton Morris back in, and he scores a decent goal in this game. But Luton are going to get the win. And how do you spot a team with no confidence? They can see goals like this, don't they? Luton just stick the corner in, bounces about. Barnsley don't clear it. And Alan Campbell forces it over the line. He's been a good signing, but go figure. Luton are just really good in the transfer market, aren't they? Here is Morris. Excellent goal from him. Thin air shot by Naismith, and then he turns Osho, I think, inside, dinks it over the keeper. So look, some, cause for happiness from Barnsley if Morris is going to get in and score some goals now. Who knows? Penalty here for Luton, and we saw this one live. Brad Collins says to Adebayo, the data guys told me you're going to put it this side. Go on, then I dare you. And Adebayo just smashes it in the top corner, which was very amusing. Well, unless you're a Barnsley fan, but I suppose you've come to expect that this season. Fairly tight in terms of the numbers, I guess. But look, when you've got a confident team like Luton against a team with zero confidence like Barnsley, that's going to happen. No, it's not tight at all. Sorry, my mistake there. That says 5 big chances to 2. Disregard what I just said. Barnsley conceded 5 big chances. It's not tight, is it? In respect of chance quality, if you're not counting up actual shots. So Luton, take a bow. Look at that. Up in 7th place. Got a game in hand on Forest, 2 on Huddersfield. I'll say no more, but Luton are in with the crowd there on 45 points. They are in good form. And when Luton have had games in hand as well, they've won them, haven't they? So, all looking good for Luton, who I think would be a bit of a people's champion, given where they've come from and resources in terms of those playoffs this season. And look at the two Year 1 parachute teams. They're directly above. So well done, Luton and, Barnsley. I don't want to dwell on it in case we've got any Barnsley fans in. They don't need reminding of how bad they've been. But, it is now. It's gone below 0.5 points per game, hasn't it? Which we know 0.5 will get you 23 points. It's less than that. So I wouldn't like Barnsley to be record-breakingly bad. I don't wish that on anybody. Put it that way. Let's get some comments in. Up the town. Yeah, I heard that Luton weren't actually that great in the first half. Collins S. Housing was incredible. You love to see it, don't you? Adebayo, 12 goals. Not bad for... Well, I won't talk about his transfer fee because we never find out really what those are, do we? But, we love Adebayo, 12 goals. Fantastic stuff. Luton out of nowhere. Feels a dangerous team. Barnsley are in a mess. Luton back in the top tier for the first time since the 80s. Look, living where I live, I would love to see it, but I've got to be objective here and leave my bias at the door. But they've done tremendous, haven't they, Luton? Gomez, Fred, and Musgrave on your dimmer, I assume that is, not yet to hit their top form. Looking good at Luton. Yeah, tremendous. Tremendous job by Luton. And I think I saw someone plotted the trend from the conference up after all the relegations and the points deduction. You don't need to tell me, living round here. I get reminded whenever I'm out on my dog walking the dog and people, Luton fans, stop me in the village here. Done brilliantly, haven't they? So well played, Luton. Right, Sheffield United 2, West Brom 0. Brucey is back and he lost. Jake Livermore got red carded again. And Sheffield United are on a tear. And Billy Sharp is going to be scoring goals until he's 100 years old. Plenty of standard championship narratives to talk about in this one. By the way, if you're enjoying the show, hit that like button and equally importantly, get your comments in. We are now talking about Sheffield United 2, West Brom 0. And hey, that Sheffield United fan can wax lyrical about their excellent second goal and not say weird stuff about Man City. So go for it now. Say positive stuff about your team. That's what we are here for, to read out your comments. Positive or negative. You don't have to be positive, but it's nice to be positive, isn't it? Hey, there's your Blades team. Fotheringham in goal. Basham, Egan, Robinson. Where have we heard that? Those two in the back three before. Bogle, Bulldog, Hurahan, Norwood, Ndiaye, McGoldrick, and the goal machine, the GOAT, the all-time championship top scorer, Billy Sharp. And that must now be, what is that, 126 now? Is anyone counting? Have I got the right number? West Brom. And look, you can tell Bruce is in, straight to a back four. So he's gone away from Big Val's back three. And here is his first team. And Sam Johnston's back in the side as well. So ringing the changes there. Furlong, Ajayi, Clark, Townsend, Mo at Livermore, Dean Garner, Reach, Grant, and Carroll. I guess Brucey would have had Reach at Sheffield Wednesday, would he? Someone fact check me on that. He's probably worked with half of these players before he's been around the block. Here is the fat lad from Sheffield, or otherwise known as the goal machine, Billy Sharp. Is a classic Sharp, isn't it? Spin and hit early into the back of the net. And yeah, brilliant. Loads of passes leading up to this one. Okay, I'm sure a Baggies fan will point out against 10 men. We understand that mitigating factor. And Sharp does well there because it looks like, I can't tell you who that player is in his way there. It's a bit too blurry to see his number. And Sharp just rifles it with the right foot into the top corner. Lovely stuff. And the Blades, well, they were already top of the form table going into this game. I think they got 19 points from 8 games. So impressive stuff going into this game. I haven't checked back whether that's gone up or whether game number 8 was a win. I'm sure someone will tell me in the chat. They always do. Livermore red carded on 39 meant that they could be fairly comfortable in seeing this one out. And look, they're both in there, although one team's trending one way and one team's trending the other. And Blades do have games in hand. Again, let's not add 3 points on for every game in hand. You know my feelings on the intelligence level of doing that. Although you could say Blades are on a 4-game winning streak, can't you? Maybe there is some kind of argument, but let's not do that. But look, were they to get 3 or 4 points from their 2 games in hand, then they're in those playoff positions, aren't they? in terms of Sheffield United. That, of course, assumes nobody else will get any points from their games in hand. So it's almost like we shouldn't do this games in hand nonsense, should we? And just let the table play out. But there we go. It's always fun to predict what's going to happen. So look at that. Yeah, Baggies, 3 straight defeats, but Bruce in now. I'm sure he'll raise the mitigating factor of the red card for Livermore and the big chance that Dejan didn't even get a shot off, did he? He was clean through. And yeah, let's go to your comments on this one. Where are we reading here? Where should we start? There we go. Sheffield United playing like they did when they were promoted. Are they? Maybe you don't mean stylistically. Maybe you mean that they're winning a lot, which is true, of course. New manager bounce. There it is. You love to see it. Honestly, can't see West Brom making the playoffs. Direction of travel for West Brom does not look good. Direction of travel for Nottingham Forest, Luton, Middlesbrough, Sheffield United does look good. So there you go. There you go. One without playing well, but it's a good habit. Billy, what can you say that hasn't been said? Not a lot, really. What was Livermore thinking? Game-changing moment. And he'll be out for 4 games as well because he's already been red-carded once this season. Sharp's second was an absolute peach, not his usual 2-yard tap-in. It's a classic Billy Sharp spin and hit. I'm not going to say he's the master of that because Ian Rush was clearly the master of that, wasn't he? But yeah, great player, isn't he? Tough game for Brucey to start with. Sheffield United performing how we expected them to, looking at their current form. Absolutely. No manager can fix Livermore picking up stupid red cards. Apparently not. RQPR massive. You tell me in the chat. There we go. Right, let's move on. Stoke 3, Swansea 0. Get your comments on this one. Good win for Stoke in this one. Be interested in your take on the red card in this. I thought Bennett was a little bit unlucky, I have to say, but I think Stoke were probably still good value for the win. Stoke 3, Swansea 0. Comments in on this one. Stoke moving up into 11th spot. Swansea 3 defeats in 4. They did beat Blackburn and they've got game in hand, so not all doom and gloom for the Swans. There you go. There's your Stoke team. Bursic, Wilmot, Jagielka and Harwood Bellis is a new pairing at the back. Timon, Powell starting again. You'd love to see that if you're a Stoke fan. Alan Baker, he seems to be playing well, doesn't he? That looks like a good signing. Campbell, Brown and Philogene Bidas. For Swansea, Fisher, Bennett, Downs at centre-back again? Really? Cabango, Wolf, wing-back? Christie, Grimes, Smith, see if I can get my voice any higher, Fulton, Nitcham and Obafemi. So it's a new look Swansea team. I think, well, I say new look. I think the Swansea team that finishes this season is going to be a fully developed Russ Martin team. He's kind of been working his way through there. Working my way back to you, babe. Don't know what the next words are. Who sings that? Detroit Spinners? Frankie Valli? I don't know. Here are the goals in this one. And here is Jaden Philogene Bidas, who is my player to watch in this week's Football 365 big weekend preview. Spoiler alert. Ball comes across him and he just managed to force that one in with the right foot. Yeah, I thought Bennett was a little bit unlucky here. We know about handball here. So the ball spoons up off the keeper. Bennett is kind of running back. Is that an unnatural position for your arm to be if you're running? I understand if you position yourself to block the effort and your arms, yeah, that might be unnatural. If you're running and turning, would your arm not naturally be there? I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. Obviously, if it's a handball, then it must have been deemed to have been deliberate or arm in a natural position. Ergo, you have denied an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Well, obvious goal-scoring opportunity. The ball's going in the goal. Obvious goal. But, yes, I find that one a bit difficult when you're running and turning. Where is a natural position when running as opposed to... Anyway, I'm going round in circles. I think you take my point. It's a grey area, isn't it? Anyway, what's not a grey area is that Lewis Baker smacks the penalty into the bottom corner. Woof. And it's a great finish by Jacob Brown to make it 3-0. They punish the 10 men in the end. What's professional handball? What on earth does that mean? Sofa score. Interesting definition. I mean, look at the numbers. God, I don't know how much of that was 10 against 11, but looks comfortable, doesn't it? Viable, all in. And the table, as we said, Stoke up to 11th. Okay, on the one hand, they're not far off. On another hand, they've got games in hand. But look at that traffic. And I can see a lot of teams, and I'm getting a lot of fans already in the chat, fair enough, saying, oh, Ben, we're only this far off playoffs. That is going to be an absolute slogfest now, because all of those teams are going to have to play each other, aren't they, at some point? Forest, Middlesbrough, Luton, West Brom, Sheffield United, include Stoke and Preston and Huddersfield if you want. We'll soon get that sorted out, is all I can say. It won't stay that tight forever. Swansea down in 17th. Let's have a look at your thoughts here. Jags is a class player, has been for many, many years. Was this sending off week and missed the memo? Anyone want to tell this guy that I'm a professional musician? So, frankly, you can tell me to stick to punditry. I could do either, frankly, and people pay me money to do so. But there you go. With a burning heart desire, the Spinners indeed. Stoke's wide men ran riot, controlled the game from start to finish. Swansea were poor. Yes, Swans fans weren't happy, were they? Daniel, there you go, by far our worst performance of the season. Players looked knackered from the start and got no squad depth, so players have to play out of position. There we go. Agreed. Okay. Stoke are a bit of a dark horse to make a late playoff push. They're always a dark horse. I'll believe it when I see it, James. I will believe it when I see it. Swansea need to shape up or they'll get into relegation. Well, they need to shape up, don't they? But look, we'll talk about the relegation scrap. And frankly, as things stand, I wouldn't be too worried if I were Cardiff or above at the moment. Put it that way. Let's move on. And we're going to talk Coventry 1, Blackpool 1. They were tied together in 12th and 13th. Now they're tied together in 13th and 14th because Preston are ahead of them. Am I right about that? No, Stoke would have moved ahead of them. My bad. Coventry 1, Blackpool 1. Get your comments in on this one. Moore in goal for Cov. Hyam, Rose, Clark, Salter, Martin, Kane, Sheafhamer, O'Hare, Shipley, Gyökeres, who's figured out how to score again. He was brilliant at the start of the season and then didn't score for a few months. For Blackpool, Grimshaw, Sterling, Ekpiteta, Keogh, James, Dale, Dougal, Robinson, and the inform Bowler, and the inform Medina as well. I think he scores again in this one as well. Yates up top with him. You say inform, Blackpool are inform period, aren't they? 11 points in the last 5. They have been on a nice run, have the pool. Get your comments in on this one. I thought this was an excellent goal. I don't think I should be showing this one first, should I? Sorry, Blackpool fans. They took the lead. Get that off the screen. Blackpool. There we go. There's Gary Medine on the back stick. Right place, right time, just to arrive and slide that. Look at those Blackpool fans behind the goal. They're ready to jump up. The ball's about to go in the net. Happy days for them. This is good by Gyökeres. Who is that he's punishing there? Is it Sterling, the fullback? Possibly. Pass. They look well out of position there. But it's really good from Gyökeres. Powers past him and sticks the ball in the net. He is back amongst the goals. And this one ended all square. Get your comments in. However, God, look at the numbers. I hadn't looked at them. Coventry fans will think they should have won. And we've had this from Coventry fans the last few weeks, playing well and not winning. But it is what it is. You've got to score more goals than the opponents. Despite 20 shots and 60% possession, 9 corners to 4, they did not win this one. So something not quite calibrating there for Coventry, because sometimes on paper they look like a very good side, but go figure, they're 13th in the league. So, hey, maybe it's coming. It's coming down the pipeline, a Coventry streak. Who knows? Both sides tied their 41 points, Coventry and Blackpool. Any comments on this one? Some hearts from Helen. End to end, great from the neutral. Both goals coming from counters. Gyökeres back on form. Superb assist by Moore. Did Moore get an assist? Have SofaScore given it to him? Yes, they have. You are totally right, Callum. Still not taking those chances. Yes, you watched the game. I didn't, and we come to the same conclusion there that Coventry, if they, well, we said the same thing about Middlesbrough. There's an extra ceiling if the finishing really, really works. If Cov can keep this team together and add a couple, they'll be thereabouts next season. It's so hard for the likes of Coventry, who are trending up, to keep trending and trending and trending. We saw Brentford do it, but they were exceptional. We've also seen teams like Bristol City and Preston go up and then drop back off, don't we? So, yeah, you've got to buy and sell to compete against those parachute teams so well as 3 of them come down with 45 million quid that they're allowed to add to their cash flow. Don't start me on that one. And I was thinking about this. Why don't parachute teams, if it's 45% of Premier League money, maybe they should only be able to add it to 45% of the wages of contracts that were signed prior to them being relegated. Would that be a good idea? Anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole now. We go down there far too often on the channel. Who we got to talk about next? Bristol City 2, Reading 1. God, Reading are in trouble. And Derby won as well, didn't they? So, yes, let's get into Bristol City first. We thought this might play out this way, in the fact that neither of these teams are particularly good defender. We thought they'd both score, but Bristol City's forwards are good, aren't they? So I think that will keep Bristol City in and around that sort of third quartile in the table, and they win this one 2-1. Get your comments in. Bristol City 2, Reading 1. What is the losing streak for Reading? Now, they are in horrible form. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I have to go over the page? 7 in all comps for the losing streak, 10 without a win. Reading are really stinking it out, and their fans must be worried, especially when the team we think most likely to challenge them has had 21 points lobbed off as well. Yes, we must acknowledge Reading have had 6 lobbed off. I don't know why I'm using that terminology, particularly clunky, but there you go. Right, Bristol City, O'Leary in goal, Viner, Callas, Closer, Pring, De Silva, Scott, Masengo, Vyman, Semenyo, Martin. I like that front three at the moment. Their output's very decent, isn't it? And another couple of goals, assists, etc. in this game for that bunch. For Reading, someone tweeted me actually saying, because I've long since said that the last, Hail Mary from a lot of managers when they're in trouble, swap the keeper. Yep, out goes Southwood, in goes Hine, who I think he's on loan from Arsenal. Is that right, youngster? I don't know. Maybe that was always the plan. Yaiden, Morrison, Holmes, Rahman, Laurent Rinomota, Ince Hoylett, Deli Bashiru, Lucas Zhao. I don't think that's a relegation team, I have to say. I quite like some of those players. So all eyes on Mr. Paunovic, I think, who is not going to be changed. I don't think they can afford to. Vyman sets up Semenyo for the opener. Semenyo finally turning into the player we thought he might be. Good youngster, Antoine Semenyo. OG here, good work down the left-hand side. And who stinks that in over his line? Michael Morrison. Michael Morrison, forget, not in love anymore. Was that guy called Michael Morrison? Michael McDonald. Things will never be the same again. Here is a penalty. Closer gets all in the wrong position here. And the penalty is stuck home by John Swift, who can probably hold his head high given his output across the season. But earlier in the season, he was doing it every game, wasn't he? Anyway, let's have a look at the numbers in this one and see what they tell us, if anything. Ooh, they tell us that if Reading could defend, they'd probably win some games. Look at that. 18 shots to 10 in Reading's favour, 6 corners to 5, 1 big chance apiece. That is not a home run winning game for Bristol City for sure, but they did go ahead and get the win. So it tells you, well, I normally assume when I see numbers are quite tight and teams losing, maybe confidence and maybe it's up in the head rather than down in the feet by the look of it. Bristol City get the win. They're up to 16, 37 points. So look, I don't think they're in particular relegation trouble, but look at their defensive record. Look, Peterborough have gone into the distance on the defensive naughty step this week. But yeah, Bristol City 55 is too many. And Reading are in awful form. We'll talk about 7 straight defeats, isn't it, in all comps, and 10 without a win. And we'll talk about Derby in a minute, are 4 points behind. Look, it's a long way down the bottom, 4 points, isn't it? But it's snail racing. And when I look at the teams at the moment, I see a Derby team that will probably continue to put points on the board during the rest of the season. And I see a Reading team in free fall, but with some good players. I don't know. What do you lot think here in the chat? What are we saying here? Could the 3 relegated teams go down with less points than the 31 points? All 3 of them? Maybe so. Semenyo is gold. Alex Scott as well. Callison close for immense, but maybe not for that penalty, Josh. Our fullbacks are dreadful. Not good. All teams in the bottom 5 except Derby are absolutely terrible. You're probably not wrong, James, looking at the form at the moment. Worst team I've seen this season, says Jeff. Not good. Reading surely should not be struggling with their roster. Did Swift not start? And if so, why Swift did? He did start, didn't we? He scored, so I don't know whether he started or not. No, he didn't start. I don't know why. Maybe some fitness thing. I think it's between Barnsley, Posh, Reading and Derby. Does look like 3 from 4, didn't it? Parachute payments did nothing for Huddersfield. That's the problem when you give them to your new owner and don't spend them, isn't it? The stats are skewed. Stop right there, Josh. The stats are never skewed. You read the stats however you perceive them. We just panicked whilst we got the stats are the stats. We always say that. It's up to you how you perceive them. It's up to me how I perceive them. But they are what they are. And interpretation is up to the individual. Worth. Right, let's move on. And who are we doing next? We are doing Derby. And after a few games without a win, Beans, like, and I do agree with you, Beans, the rest of the bottom 5 are just frankly rubbish, aren't they? And, well, except for Cardiff. Let's rephrase that. Beans, the rest of the bottom 4 are rubbish. And, yeah, look, in those last few games where Derby haven't really won, Reading, 4 defeats. Peterborough, 3 defeats and a draw. Barnsley, 4 defeats. So, if that continues, Derby would only actually need to win 1 every 4 games or whatever it is. But surely someone will win some points down the bottom there. Derby, the only team that are doing it. And you look at Cardiff and you look at Hull, a couple of winning streaks for them. Off they go into the distance. Anyway, Hull's winning streak's well and truly over. Back-to-back defeats for them and Shota Arveladze. But Derby, I guess, are the story here because they are now 4 points off safety. Yes, Reading have a game in hand. But, again, look at the direction of travel. Reading are in free fall. And Derby, we've said many times, if you added the 21 points on, which gives us more of an indication of what Derby are in terms of a team, they would be 15th above Millwall. And we know how tight the top half is. So you can make whatever silly argument you like. There would be however many 7 points off the playoffs or whatever. That's not the issue. The issue for Derby is, can they get over the punishments they've been given? They're giving it a good go, aren't they? Also up in goal for the Rams, Byrne, Davies, Buchanan at centre-back for Scythe. Bird, Bielik, great to see him. Hopefully he didn't go off injured. Ebasele, Knight, Lawrence and Plange. For Hull, Ingram in goal, Jones, McLaughlin, Greaves, Fleming, Coyle, Walsh, Doherty, Honeyman, Force and Lewis Potter. And we had this one on in the Super Stream and I had one eye on it. And the people that had 2 eyes on it told me that Hull were not very good in this game. You can give me your thoughts. This looked like it had been planned, didn't it? Craig Forsyth arriving against the right wing-back Louis Coyle here and heading into the back of the net. Wayne Rooney looked very much like a man who'd planned for that to happen, and indeed it did. 1-0. Good feat by Lawrence here to react quickest and stick it in for 2. This is good from Ebasele right at the start of the second half. Makes it safe 3-0. A little squeaky bum time. OG from Craig Forsyth here after a good run from Brandon Fleming down the left. There was one really good block I remember seeing out the corner of my eye from Curtis Davies at 3-1. If that had gone in, I don't know. But Derby, comfortable win in the end. 3-1, wasn't it? Let's have a look at the bottom of the table then. And I suppose I agree with all of you lot. Look, at the moment, and we'll talk about... No, actually, we'll save the that conversation for Cardiff and Peterborough in a minute. Let's just talk about Derby. And I'm not going to talk about Cardiff. Can Derby catch Peterborough? Yes, Peterborough never win away, and their defence is the worst in the league. Can Derby catch Reading? Yes, at the moment. Yes, they can. Reading have good players. I think Ejaria, Maite, I know they're injured, those two. Zhao, Swift. I think they've got some good players, but something stinks at Reading at the moment. Can they catch them? Yes, they could. So that's about the size of it. What Derby can't afford to do, well, in fact, you tell me. So the last 4 games, they've got 4 points. So were Derby to score 1 point per game for the rest of the season, they would end on 34 points. Will Reading, with a points deduction, be bad enough to finish with less than 34 points? Maybe. Surely it'll be more close to 40, won't it? I mean, we normally say 45 to survive. Doesn't look like it's going to be anything like that this season. Could be 37, 38. I don't know. But could Derby survive? Yes, they could. And for most of the season, when people have asked me, I've gone, nah, not sure about that. Ask me in 5 games' time. But this Reading losing streak really does mean that there is something there now. And it is snail racing, isn't it? So a few wins makes the world of difference, doesn't it? What are we saying here? Look, I've got to clone everybody. Derby don't look like a team in trouble. No, they don't. No, they absolutely don't. Let's be honest. They're the real league table, and I know you can add 6 points on for Reading for this, would have them in 15th, and that is not a team in trouble. Is it? Derby, best comeback since Lazarus if they stay up. Maybe so. We will see. Derby play Borough. That's going to be a nice, quiet Saturday afternoon at the library. Derby versus Borough. Then look at that. Peterborough, Millwall and Cardiff, Barnsley. Oh, my goodness me. Yeah, so look, if I'm a Derby fan, I frankly don't care if they lose to Borough. As long as they can not lose to and beat. Well, look, can they beat Peterborough and Barnsley, get 6 points? Can they draw... I don't know, can they get another 2 or 3 points from the games between Cardiff and Millwall? They will be close if Reading continue on that trend, won't they? Proud to be partially extremely worried by Derby. I'm sure you are. Josh, hope we stay up would be a miracle. Just need to keep... Well, that's exactly the point, Josh, isn't it? And that's the good thing for Derby fans. If you roll out the current form, Derby will stay up. But this does rely on the fact of Reading continuing to be as bad as they've been at the moment, doesn't it? And Peterborough, especially away from home. Let's just do this last one, then we can go into teaming around and we can do some Q&A. And yeah, just horrible for Peterborough. It was Cardiff 4, Peterborough 0. And I set this up in my preview by saying, look, if Cardiff win this game, I think that's it done. And it's the bottom 4 that I don't see any of those bottom 4. Well, let's be frank about it. We're talking about the bottom 3, aren't we? Drawing in a Cardiff side that would then be 12 points clear. Yes, of course, it could happen. I don't see it happening now. I think that with Cardiff and Hull now are 12 points clear. Given, look, they would have to be so bad now for the rest of the season. We're talking, I don't know, like 5 or 6 points from 15. And one of the bottom 3 would have to really improve. Even Derby, given how many points they've got. Their current form would have made. So, given this game ended 4-0, I don't know. Can we pack up and go home in terms of there being more than 4 teams in the relegation zone? Quite probably. So, put it this way, something has to switch drastically now, i.e. someone from Cardiff upwards has to be awful for the rest of the season to get dragged into this. Absolutely awful is all I would say. Literally 5 or 6 points between now and then. Anyway, I'm repeating myself. It was 4-0 to Cardiff. Here are your teams. Smithies in goal. McGuinness, Flint, NG. Drama, Bagan. Rolls, Wintle, Doyle. Davies and Hugill. For the Posh, Bender in goal. Kent, Knight, Edwards. Coulson, Mumba. Fuchs, Norburn, Poku, Marriott, and Morton. And yeah, it's just a bit of a hammer in this one, isn't it? There is your opener from Joe Rule. Sweeps that one home. 2-0 up before half-time. Look at that. Aidan Flint, hey? Drilling one in from the edge of the box. And then this is why you have players like Hugill and Ikpeazu in your team. Give them crosses in the 6-yard box and they'll score, won't they? I know you can say that about a lot of players, but Hugelin Ikpeazu particularly. There's Hugel on the near post. The cross comes in from Drama, and he sticks it in. And Ikpeazu from Colwill here. Easy pickings, 4-0. And yeah, I just want to focus on that league table because that 12-point gap now, for my money, I'm saying this right now, I will happily change my mind if one of the bottom four goes mental and wins a few games out, 3 games out of 5 or something. Or I'll happily change my mind if Cardiff or Hull lose, or Birmingham, whoever, Swansea, lose 6 out of the next 7. I don't see it happening now, I have to say. That 12-point gap between Peterborough and Cardiff, I think that means that Peterborough will now not finish above Cardiff. So I think it's 4 from 3 for relegation. And look, anything can happen. You never know, but I think that's it done. Also, we should flag up Peterborough's away record is terrible, and their goals against record now 59 in 28 games. They are, Peterborough, completely reliant on 2 things. 1, their home form. 2, Reading being terrible. And I suppose 3, the hope that Derby don't go past them as well. Not good at all. Savigma, Cardiff will easily reach the top half. Well, there you go. We will see. I'm not sure it'll be easy, but hey, you're entitled to make whatever prediction you like, Savigma. Proud to be posh. It was a joke, an absolute joke. So poor at the back. 3 goals were terrible from terrible defensive passes. We have no other centre-backs now to cover for Beavers. Makeshift centre-back. No, it does not sound good. Proud to be posh. Alan, they lost Dembele, who is class. Well, I think we all said about Dembele, he'll probably hinder Peterborough, him going, more than he will improve Bournemouth, I think. I think he's just another squad player there at Bournemouth. But, yeah, the posh could have done with him. So there you go. Right, let's get into this now. And it is Team of the Round. Let's get into Team of the Round. I will make my normal plea here. So Team of the Round, you are voting for the team that performed best this round. Please do not make this partisan. Please only vote for the team you support if you believe that they are a deserving winner of Team of the Round. Not just that they're your favourite and you love them. Come on, let's get a good poll on who was the team of the round. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to read out the winners, okay? Please do not cry that I didn't read out someone who drew. I don't care. I'm going to read out the winners. Is your team of the round Derby? Is it Fulham? Is it Luton? Is it Stoke? Is it Forest? Is it Bournemouth? Is it Bristol City? Is it Cardiff? Or is it Sheffield United? My opinion, for what it's worth, if you care, and you're entitled to not, and you're entitled to give me yours, I am between Nottingham Forest and Cardiff. I think they're my 2. I think Forest went away to Blackburn and won, and I think went into the top 6. Impressive, especially given the opponent. Cardiff, okay, Peterborough rubbish away, but it was 4-0 and it was a symbolic victory. Honestly, I'd probably go for Forest. But let's see who you guys vote for in your team of the round. Where should we land in here? Right, here we go. Fulham, Bournemouth, Blades, Forest, Cardiff, Forest, Derby, Forest, Blades, Forest, Derby, Forest, Blades, Forest. There you go. Let's go for Nottingham Forest, okay? And let's dive in for your goal of the round. And please, if anyone says, if Manchester City had scored that goal, everyone would be raving about it. Get in the bin if you're going to say that. Silly. Very, very silly. If you think your team scored a great goal or any team scored a great goal, then say nice things about that goal. Deary me, that's stuck in my craw, that one, hasn't it? Right. I really liked Gyökeres's goal for Coventry. I liked Ebosele's goal for Derby. I liked Adebayo's penalty. It made me laugh. I liked Brown's goal for Stoke. I liked... What else did I like? I liked Chair's goal for QPR. And I liked Sharp's goal for Sheffield United. Let me try and remember those. Sharp, Chair. You can vote for who you like. Please don't automatically vote for a player from the team you support, else we don't get a credible vote in the slightest. Who am I saying? Sharp, Chair, Adebayo for giggles, Ebasele and Gyökeres would be my kind of 5 I would pick out. But let's throw it into the chat and see if there's a winner here. Right. Oh, yeah. Flint. Okay, let's throw in Flint just because it was Flint and he's a 6'9" huge centre half. Right, here we go. Right, Sharp, Ebasele, Sharp, Gyökeres, Sharp, Chair, Sharp, Garner. Yeah, Garner's goal was good, wasn't it? Actually, so was Morris's. But I think we have a winner, and I think it is the fat lad from Sheffield. Billy Sharp is our winner. There you go. Right, thank you, everybody. So we do some Q&A. Anybody got any questions? I will answer them to the best of my ability, and you can chat about what I say in the comments. Any questions? Very, very quickly, we will do a few. Any topics, get them in now. In the meantime, please do hit like. I will be back. I'm working for Planet Sport tonight. We've got to cover Liverpool-Leicester, so I'm going to be back live tonight, and I should, hopefully I have time, get Dearly Departed in before sort of 4 or 5 p.m. Any questions? If nothing comes in the next 25 seconds or so, we will move on and I'll end the stream and I'll get on with my life. But any questions, get them in now and I will take them ASAP. As I say, Dearly Departed, the plan is for that to be pre-recorded at some point very soon. I'll try and get that out before we cover Liverpool and Leicester tonight. We should indeed be back. What have we got on tomorrow? Right, preview show tomorrow at 1 p.m. And what's going on in the evening tomorrow? Are there any games? I can't quite remember. But there we go. Right, let's do this. Are Ipswich going up? Probably not, Dave. No, I think they left themselves too big a gap. There you go, Carl Ipswich. Right. Paul Cook at Chesterfield. Thoughts? Surprised he dropped that low. But look, he had a bad time with my lot. Ipswich, wrong time, wrong place, wrong circumstances, whatever. Move on. Good luck to him. Think he's a great guy, so good luck to him. I have one. Do you not show goal clips? Because you can't. You won't be able to show footage. I will get in trouble if I do that. Tin hats on. Who are my top six? No idea, Scott. On the top six, way too tight. Way too tight. Why do you think Reading are playing as bad as they are? Chaos relegates clubs. Owners relegates club. Chaos at the moment at Reading and confidence, I would guess. Where did I get my jumper from? A charity shop, probably back in the day. Odds on Blades finishing second. Slim. They are 10 points. No, I don't see Sheffield United making up 10 points. They probably need to win like 9 out of the next 10 games, I think, to be in with a shout. And that would then mean they've already run 4 on the trot. So no, I think Sheffield United make playoffs for sure, but I don't see them becoming second. Of course, I will come on here and someone can replay me this clip and I will say, well done if they get close. But no, I'm not seeing it. Now, is Willock a future England player? Probably too early to say that on Willock. I think he's a great player. I think he's a future Premier League player. But at the moment, in those positions with England, it's not enough to be just a good Premier League player, especially when you have Foden and Grealish and Rashford and all of those players who play off the front for England. There's like 6 or something. So, yeah. Thoughts on Keane turning down Sunderland? A bit embarrassing if you're Sunderland, isn't it? But I don't think, that could have been a very combustible situation. Forest for the autos. No, I honestly, for the automatics at the moment, come back to me in 4 or 5 games' time if it's all closed up. But no, honestly, for the autos right now, I think it's 2 from 4. And let's be honest, I think Fulham, as of right now, are away and clear, aren't they? So, no. And I hate to say it, you could see a scenario where Bournemouth have a good run now and those two are just off in the distance. But there we go. If Fulham and Bournemouth go up, do you think they can be competitive? I'd have more confidence that Fulham would be than Bournemouth at the moment, but you never know. It always seems to happen in the Championship. The runners-up do better than the champions and the playoff winners, don't they? So, Mum says hello. Hello to you, Mum, Dave. Blackburn to slip out of the playoffs. If the current trend continues, that could happen. All I'd say about Blackburn is they've got a nice points total. And forget everybody else. If I'm a Blackburn fan, there's 15 games to go for Blackburn. Can Blackburn get 20 points from the last 15 games? Yes. Can they get more? Possibly. Probably. Who knows? That's 73 to 75 points. They're in the playoffs if that's the case, isn't it? Or they've been very unlucky and it's been a very high tide, isn't it? Rob Page to stay Wales manager. I'll bow to your superior knowledge on that. Not too knowledgeable about the Wales thoughts there. Thoughts on Semenyo agreeing a call up from Ghana. Great stuff. Yeah. I think Semenyo's looking really, really good, David. And it will do him no harm to become an international footballer and play with those Ghanaian players. I know they've had some great players in their time. Right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. You lot have been great value in the chat. That has been our Championship review and reaction for round 31. I'll be back with a pre-record Dearly Departed, and we will be back tonight. We're doing Liverpool and Leicester for Planet Sport. So come and have a chat and enjoy that. See if I can get accused of being a Liverpool fan, despite sitting directly in front of an Ipswich scarf. But there you go. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And it's a lovely big over and out for me. If there's any nice comments, I'll stick them. I'll put them up on the screen over the advert. See you tonight, hopefully. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.